Good morning. Welcome to Little Patch Kitchen today. Today I'm doing a little quick dehydration video this morning. I've got two things that I've had in the fridge that I got the other day that one of them I ran out of, which was the curry leaf. I normally only get them when they're on special and do them, but I have actually run out of them in my cupboard. So I'm going to be dehydrating these curry leaves today so that I've got more in the cupboard. And the other one is mushrooms. I've got some mushrooms on special, big punnets. There's two of these. So I'm going to be slicing these up today and putting them into the dehydrator. Now, some people say you need to blanch foods. I don't believe that you need to blanch foods unless you can't actually eat them raw. So mushroom you can eat raw, you can eat cooked. So I'm just going to slice them up and stick them on my trays and put them in my dehydrator. The length of time it takes can actually really vary on the day, how much moisture is in the air, how cold it is, and how hard your machine has to work to keep the temperature in its little compartments up. So that is this morning's task, is to get these done and get these into the dehydrator. The curry leaves are really basically easy. It is just lay them out on the tray and put them into the dehydrator. So I'm going to just quickly get those done now and get them in the machine. These generally don't take very long at all, maybe a couple of hours, because they are very thin leaves. So let's get into it and get today's dehydrating job done. So I've got the trays from Excalibur here. I'm going to use one of my sheets here underneath the curry leaves. They're still wet because I've just cleaned them. So basically with the curry leaves, I just open them up and take them off the main stem and put them straight on to the tray. Just like you would any other herb. So that's the curry leaves on the tray. There's not a lot of them. I only got the one container, so they don't actually take up a lot of space on the tray. So if I need the extra space for the mushrooms, I'll use the other half of the mushrooms. But for now, I'm just going to do that, and then I'll put that aside and get happening with my mushrooms. Now, I could do these mushrooms in the machine, but I find with this kind of thing that the machine makes a lot of little pieces, and I sort of want them to be the size that I would normally use them. So I'm just going to hand cut them up. It won't actually take that long to do. So there is no need to wash these mushrooms. If you feel like you need to wash them, but otherwise don't stress about it. I might actually, because these are actually quite big, take the stalks out and do them that way. So I'm just cutting these the same thickness I would as if I was actually going to use them to make some garlic mushrooms or put into a salad. And the same with the stalks, just going to cut them in half. And then once you've got them cut up, straight onto your trays. Again, I'm going to make sure that I have one with the black oven liner or barbecue liner. These ones are the thicker ones. And on the bottom, on the very bottom of the dehydrator, it's to catch anything that falls through, so that I don't lose them into the dehydrator and lose what I'm making. And we just keep going there with the rest of the packet. They can be a little bit chewy when you put them into a meal, So I haven't done them as a garlic mushroom after being dehydrated yet. I haven't tried it out. Strange things happening in my house today. But you know, to make like a chicken and mushroom pie, or a stew or a soup, things like that. Though I haven't tried the stroganoff yet. The main reason I do mushrooms is for me to put in. No one else really likes mushroom, so I usually put some sneaky mushrooms in to something, into some mince or something like that, just to add an extra veggie and bulk up what I'm making. But like any dehydrated vegetable, you need to experiment yourself with what you use them in, how you're going to use it, whether you rehydrate it before you use it or whether you rehydrate it after you use it, as you use it, which is in most cases how I do most of mine, just because mine is a time factor. But yeah, so just experiment with them. I mean, this is, what were these? I paid $3.05, so this is $6.10 worth of mushroom that I'm using here. But I think these punnets are usually the $5+ mark when you buy them fresh. And unless you eat a lot of mushrooms, half a kilo of mushrooms will take you a while to eat, or you end up throwing them out. Quite often I actually buy the pre-sliced ones, so I don't have to pre-slice them. But again, that just depends on what's on special. These were on special, so this is what I've gotten today. Pre-sliced ones can cost more per kilo because obviously they've had to put the time into slicing them. Don't stress about your sizes. Some of mine are quite thick, some of mine are thinner. It's really not a huge issue. They still will dehydrate. You might just have to leave them in a little bit longer, but yeah, they'll be fine. So it's as easy as this, guys. Just cut them up like that, and I'll just show you them on the tray so you can see them a bit better. So you can see they are touching each other and quite close. It's not an issue. I mean, I'm trying to have them not overlap, but it's not always easy not to. So now we'll just take them down into go and put those into the dehydrator. It is always a good idea to preheat your dehydrator, especially on a colder day like today, but I haven't actually done that today. So we're just going to pop these guys into the dehydrator here. 125 Fahrenheit or 25 degrees. This is what I like about the Excalibur. It does have it all written on top of the actual machine itself. So basically then you just turn the knob around to where it says so. Mine's not actually plugged in, so it won't. Alright, so let's get these guys in here. Some runaway mushrooms. Remembering to put the tray with the liner on the bottom so it catches anything that falls through. Now I know that my machine heats from the back to the front and it dehydrates from the back to the front better. So these curry leaves, I'm going to put them on the front side just to slow down the dehydrating process so they don't dehydrate too quickly because they are very, very thin. Don't forget to put the front on. It's on, and I just. Alright guys, just doing a check-up on these mushroom and the curry leaves in the dehydrator here. They've been in it for a couple of hours now, so I thought I'd come and check especially the curry leaves and see how they're getting on. I want to make sure that the curry leaves don't get too over dehydrated and actually start cooking in here. They're so fine, these curry leaves, so they're not fully dehydrated yet. Some of them are getting there, some of them are starting to get a crunch to them, a lot of them are still not ready to go. So there'll be a few more hours yet, so they're getting good. The mushroom is doing really well. You can see that from the back of the tray there, that they are starting to dehydrate quicker at the back than they are here at the front. So I'm going to do a quick whip around and turn my trays around so that the front can get to the back and where the heat is a bit warmer in there. So you can see how much they're starting to shrink already. There's a lot less, looks like a lot less on the tray than when I started, but it's exactly the same amount. Oop. And it's not an issue if you want to move them around, get them separated that little bit more so they aren't sitting on top of each other, go ahead and do that. The bottom tray, because it's got the black sheeting in it, will take probably that little bit longer because it hasn't got as good airflow, but they seem to be coming along just as nicely as well. Alright, we'll turn that back on and let that go for a couple more hours and come and check it again. I'd say the mushrooms and the curry leaves have been in here for about 4 hours now. I got busy doing some other stuff, so I've only just come in to check them out. So this is the curry leaf. You should be able to hear that it's crunchy. These are definitely ready to come out. So I'll just let that cool off for a minute. And the mushroom, it's getting there. It's getting, it's still a little bit too pliable though, so this is going to need a little bit longer. But they are slowly starting to be a snap rather than a bend. So that is perfect as a snap like that. But I can feel that some of them are still not quite done, so I'll give these probably a couple more hours just to make sure. They feel almost like a foam. They're a really quite funny consistency, so yeah, these will probably need just a couple more hours in here just to make sure that they are well dehydrated through. Alright, so I'm going to get the curry leaf out and into its container. This is the little jar that I do store them in. It's why it's already got the name on there. I'm not too worried about the date because they'll get used pretty quickly anyway. So there's nothing. I'm not breaking these up. I'm just putting these in whole because when I use them, I'll use so many curry leaves. These are quite small curry leaves to the last ones I got, so I'll probably just have to use some extra ones. But hopefully maybe the curry leaves might come on special again and I can do a whole bunch more of them. So that's the curry leaves. Just make sure you let them cool down before you put the lid back on. Same with anything else you do, making sure that the vegetable or fruit is cooled down because otherwise you can get some moisture in your jars. They're pretty good now. They don't take long to cool down and it's ready to go on my shelf. So the mushroom is now ready to be put into jars. It's nice and crispy, and definitely ready to be go into jars. So I'll just pack them into my jar here and put the lid on it, and then just keep an eye on it over the next couple of days. Make sure no moisture shows up in the jar, and then I'll label and put it on the shelf. So that is really easy to do. Mushroom, it's one of the easy ones to do. So I'll get this packed away and get it sorted. Alright, so guys, that's as easy as it is. Chop them up, put them in the dehydrated. Thanks for joining me here in the Little Patch Kitchen today, and we'll see you on the next vid.